Hello, host churches, and welcome to Side Week. Last Sunday, we looked at Revelation 18, which is an economic critique of the Roman Empire, but by extension, it's a critique of every system that exploits the poor and makes the wealthy wealthier and the poor poorer, so we could draw some direct connections to the system that we find ourselves in. And here is, to help with your discussion, my question mark, my light bulb, and my arrow coming out of Revelation 18. My question is, how on earth do we come out of Babylon? I think it's verse 6 of Revelation 18. The people of God are invited to come out of Babylon. And most of us are like, we'd like to. We don't want to be a part of this system where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. But where do you begin? Like, is there a right way in this day and age to fill up your car with gas? And if you decide, no, I'm not going to fill up my car with gas, I am going to have a hybrid or a Tesla. Is there a right way to spend $80,000 on a car? Is there a right way to buy groceries? Is there a right way to go on vacation? Is there a right way to have a cabin? Is there a right way to use a coupon? Like, how do you actually be a faithful disciple who's supposed to be in the world, but not of it, and come out of Babylon? This is legitimately my question. I don't know practically what this means all the time. My light bulb moment was when I realized I don't need to actually get super specific in this sermon or in this text. I don't need to kind of go on an anti-Walmart rant or whatever kind of direction we might go about child labor and those kinds of things, although those are some important questions to ask. But my light bulb moment came when I realized that surely the Holy Spirit should be invited into the economic decisions I make. So when I'm facing temptation, or when I know that there's going to be something where I might compromise, I'll often pray ahead of time. Be like, Holy Spirit, be sovereign here. Guide me through this difficult conversation. Or I'm angry at this person and I need to forgive. Help me, Holy Spirit. Or I'm tempted by this situation. Help me, Holy Spirit, to avoid temptation. What is often off of our radar as Christians is the moral side of our economic decisions. And we need to invite Jesus into those the same as everything else. So perhaps, as weird as it might seem, you need to ask the Holy Spirit to fill you when you go into a shopping mall. Because there in the temple of the false god, you can be seduced to worship the wrong thing. You need to invite the Holy Spirit in to guide you and help you when you're shopping for a new vehicle, because there in that false temple of the showroom, you can be tempted to worship the wrong thing. So my first light bulb, and it's kind of the same, but the first part of it is I need to invite the Holy Spirit in. The second part of it is also like inviting something in. First, the Holy Spirit. Second, my community. For years in my life, I met with people for accountability that had to do with how I treated Tamara, what I looked at, the kinds of movies or internet sites I went to, and they would ask me weekly, are you doing this the way Jesus would want you to? But it's only been recently that I've had people start to ask those questions of my economic purchases. Am I being generous? Am I inviting the Holy Spirit into those? Am I trying to follow the Lamb wherever he goes with my money? So my light bulb is that I need to treat money as any other moral issue in my life and invite help from the Holy Spirit and from my community so that I can do it faithfully. My arrow in all of this is that since how I spend money and the economic side of life is as much a moral issue as sexuality or your emotional life or whatever it might be, then I need to be expecting that in the same way that as a follower of Jesus, I expect that in 5 years I'll be more patient than I am now, because Jesus will have worked with me inside to make me that way. 5 years from now, I'll be more loving. 5 years from now, I'll be more gracious. 5 years from now, I'll be less worried, because that's what walking with Jesus does. I need to also anticipate that 5 years from now, I'm going to be more generous. And that's a great way to see if the Holy Spirit is at work in your life. One of the ways that you can tell that the Holy Spirit is active in a community in the New Testament is when there's no poor people. Because when the Holy Spirit is truly moving, we become increasingly generous year after year after year. To be generous is to become more holy, in the same way that to become pure is to become more holy, or to become patient is to become more holy. So my conviction is that I need to do those things that make me more generous 5 years from now than I am now. It is Side Week, that's the sermon part of things, but in Side Week you're going to dive into relationships, make sure you care for each other and encourage each other, but really enjoy courageously diving into this economic part of life because it really does matter for discipleship. We're supposed to figure out a way to come out of that one. Grace and peace, everyone.